Good evening, everybody. Do you have an account on chess.com? What's your rating? More importantly, what would you like your rating to be? Everybody's trying to grind and get that rating higher. One thing that I think could really help a person raise their rating, I've never exhausted this tool, would be to have a higher rated opponent review their game. Yeah, you can plug it into game review, but the vague in descriptions as to why you should have played a certain move instead of another. Sometimes they're just like kind of blanket descriptions that said you could have won a pawn here whenever it's completely ignoring what positionally is going on. Those aren't going to be the best for helping you get better. I love chess. I love explaining chess. I love the way, I love to see people's eyes light up whenever they get, what's going on at a higher level. So I'm willing to review people's games who want to get to a higher level. So, just as a little example, I'm going through these intermediate players. I'm probably just going to jump up like to the next number amount. So I'm not going to do all the thousands. And I'm going to play Azeez. I'm going to explain every move. Do I have like white and black mix started? I don't know if it's shuffling them. But anyways, e4. And he plays the, this fight for the center by fianchettoing your bishop's situation. I'm just going to go knight to g3 instead. We're going to take the center because he's not taking it thus far. And then I'm going to play a really steady, sturdy setup that I like to play a lot because I kind of grew into chess playing the Ponziani a lot. It's very solid. Super solid, you might say. Now, okay, so this pawn's not defended, so you can take that pawn. And I'm telling you that my way of looking at this is that like the bot has tried to justify that it's 1100 and it's made a mistake. Let me make sure my mic's working. So we're gonna take. There are situations where it's a gambit, but like I don't see any positional weakness that I'm making from taking. This bishop is not defending. I mean, it is defending this pawn, but like this pawn's not under attack. It's not like, a linchpin to my position in any way. And then I can also take here and damage the pawn structure, and then I'm up a pawn as well. So I could do something like this right away. But then he could put the bishop here, and then once he moves that pawn, it's discovered attack. So I won't waste the tempo. Chess is a lot about tempo. Wasted moves can be the moves that they end up using the checkmate use. So here we're going to, we don't have to worry about the light squared bishop coming in. That's not going to pose any problems. So let's go ahead and just put the bishop here. It's on an active square. Okay, this is weak. We got to watch it, but he's shuffling his pieces, it looks like. Not doing a particularly good job, it doesn't seem like. Now, we could do this. I actually don't know that that's a bad idea. The reason why is because if I do this, I can have this pawn chain, but a move like this, that wouldn't work, but a move like this could be a bit problematic. So we're just going to move the rook. You want to keep the pawn structure nice and intact. So we're going to do this because I do like this idea of building up. Okay, now this pawn is not hanging. It's defended twice. I'm kind of thinking that actually there's an attacking chance to just go here, and you're looking at this, which is a fork, and he doesn't defend it. So you always got to be looking for attacking opportunities, and we're going to win a pawn and fork to more valuable pieces. All right. So, pawn's still defended. Let's just march into the position. There's no longer a pawn that could come here and undermine our center. So I'm actually thinking to go here and then this and have the open file. We could also go here. Actually, I think that restricts his position even more. I mean, look at how his pieces are tied up. So now it's probably about time to attack. I'm going to get my queen active. I don't have a specific plan. That is... I guess that's actually not a terrible move. So I'm going to go here. Okay, so castling here is pretty terrible. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So we can actually go here and so he's not attacking anything that I'm worried about. So I can go here and then I can just challenge the center again with my other pawn, open up the king. That's the name of the game here. So he brings in the queen to, so what we can actually do, interestingly enough, is we could bring in more support, but this in particular is a way to try and win this pawn because of the pin. Now let's say he did this and then tried to break the pin. We take, he takes, and then I take, and it ends up being basically I win a pawn. So we're just going to go right ahead and do this. There's no need even to make this move. All right. So that actually was a really good move. If I were to go here, he does have this move. I think I need to take here. Now he can, yeah, he can take with the knight, but then that blocks the vision of these two pieces that supported this square. I think this is pretty good. Looking at attacking chances here, places that he moves the knight, like I can just take. I think this is pretty all right. This also guards a pawn. We're up in material, but we got to be a bit smart here. Now I do have to bail out because, oh, and he actually has an attack here. That is interessant. Yeah, I'm just gonna pin. Okay, so he takes here. Notice I am guarding my knight as well. So I don't know what he really defended by doing this, but there's a few things that I can do. I could go here. Actually, I think, and that might have been what he was trying to defend, but I can go here and then the rook is then hanging. But he also has this move. So actually, I think I'm going to do this move, knight to f3, because once I do this, this is check, and it also kind of helps keep my position safe. And if he takes, then I end up right here. Okay, so now let's think about what we'll do here. So I can go here and check him. And he goes like here or something. Or should I just get my queen out? I'll just get my queen out of danger. Now, so this rook is no longer supported on squares like this. Actually, it is due to the bishop, but if I take this knight, that's one less supporter. So let's go ahead and take it. Now, I do have a way of winning this pawn. And he could like take my bishop, but then I take the bishop with check. So I'm a tempo ahead on this situation. But let's just look at some more moves. Is there anything else that stands out? No. I think it's pretty good in a position like this to be safe and to not let him get counterplay. So like simplifying, yeah, you know, so we're the queens are off, and he can't take this unless he wants to, yeah. So that actually, you know, simplifies even more, which is what I was already trying to do. Now this would win my rook, so we don't want to do that. So I could actually do something like this. Or just move my king. I don't see any reason not to. The pawn was hanging, but I mean, in this position, I'm not even looking for hanging pawns. To be quite honest. Let's attack the rook. Now, how do we try and convert an endgame like this? So we are winning. We're up a pawn and a rook for a bishop. We have to make sure we don't hang any pieces, like, you know, if I went here or whatever. And then we could also try and get the pawns moving, which I am cut off from this rank, so that is kind of, you know, troublesome for me. But I'm just going to defend this pawn. In this situation, I'm not necessarily going to try and do a whole heck of a lot. If I don't see a whole heck of a lot, I'm just going to try. Okay, so this actually wins a pawn here. I'm just going to try and wait for him to make a mistake. So I won another pawn. I'm up 2 pawns. Notice my rooks are on dark squares. I'm not saying that I have to keep them on dark squares, but I think that that is generally a smart way of doing things. Now I could go here, but if he pushes, I take with a pawn. It messes up my pawn structure. Honestly, I don't think it's worth doing. Another move I could make is just go here to try and set up a trade. If I go here, okay, so he checks me. And we're going to get closer to our pawns, which is what we kind of wanted to do anyways. So, yeah, once the pawns get to moving, then so we can try and trade this off to where we don't have to worry about this pawn. It can just move. Now the bishop hangs. So Something like this is fine. We're just gonna try and get this pawn. Yeah, so he does that. And in this situation, once again, I think I'm actually just going to push to keep the pawns together. He would also pick off this pawn. Well, he did. So that was a blunder. I'll give Azeez that. I did blunder that. So. I'm going to go here so he can't try and pick off another pawn. Okay, so now we finally get our trade that we're wanting. Now we can actually do a little tactic here. We do this. Okay, so he doesn't... It ends up still being a trade. Yeah, we'll not make it complicated. He takes the rook, and then we... maybe we just try and get this bishop to where it no longer defends this pawn. Like that. Now he's going to come back around, of course. Now what we could do is we could try and cover the square that he's going to try and defend the pawn from. All right, we've made a queen. He says, you may have another queen. I says, you ain't got no choice. Yeah, we all know how this is going to go. We might be able to strip him away from the bishop. Yeah, we're going to be able to. So we win the bishop. Just got to not stalemate. So, I believe here, here, here. All right, so, what was the accuracy? Let's see. Now, if you can't beat Azeez, well, that was pretty easy, right? How would you like to be able to easily beat Azeez? So 84.6 accuracy, not the best. If I was a 2000, probably would have been easier. If I was a grandmaster, probably would have been almost effortless. So, once again, send in a game. It will be free because I will make content out of making a video of it. And then you'll be famous to like 200 people. That's what one of my videos got. So, thanks a lot everyone for watching. Next time I will be posting a game on the road to getting my rating higher. Thanks a lot once again. Maybe we'll play a local tournament tomorrow night. Maybe not. If I do, maybe I'll show you those games if I don't blunder a lot. All right, everybody have a good night.